The shorthand notes of Helen Schucman, the shorthand notes manuscripts of Helen Schucman. Okay. Okay, so you will see miracles through your hands, through me. A Course in Miracles. The author here, many believe, is Jesus of Nazareth. I don't. I mean, any perfect high being or spiritual being of some kind could have transcribed this information through Helen. So I have nothing against whoever authored this pretending to be Jesus of Nazareth. I mean, that's fine. Jesus is very popular on this planet, so pretending to be Jesus of Nazareth would help with sales, quite frankly, of the book. So that's fine with me. So, but miracles are important. Holy, joyous, conflict free. You will see miracles through your hands, through me. I'm going from the very beginning of Helen's notes. So, joy, peace, goodness, love, zero negative emotions. That's what it's all about. No anxiety, fear, remorse. I was focused on low self-esteem. Let me just look at something here. Well, I had it. Okay, so now let me go to here. Okay, we're still there. Not quite. Okay, so important to me, consistently afraid about making mistakes. Low self-esteem, consistent for me. One idea about low self-esteem, consistently afraid about making mistakes. So I have that. So that's okay. Just wanted to mention that, but let me go back to the notes here. Okay. Miracles. Joy, peace, goodness, strength, vitality, exuberance, confidence, ... all that with zero negative emotions is the idea behind miracles in ACIM. So no anxiety, doubt, fear, low self-esteem, or any of it. Like none of it. No, every negative emotion is listed in ACIM at one point or another. So the goal is miracles, which is, in a phrase, holy, joyous, conflict-free, the peace of God which passes understanding, with nothing opposing that. Okay. The first thing to remember about miracles is that there is no order of difficulty among them. One is not harder or bigger than another. They are all the same. I was wondering, it's kind of strange, but brutal. As far as my background, like I wanted to put up like a fake background. I don't think I can. Pop out dashboard. Edit. I don't. Nah. No. Okay, but my background's fine. All right. I don't think I can put up a fake background. I don't think I can put one up. Okay, doesn't matter. All right. So no order of difficulty among miracles. Joy is joy. I mean, the goal is Jesus-like God consciousness. That's the goal. Phenomenally joyous, with phenomenal strength of character and person and persona and beingness, et cetera, no conflicts of any kind, mentally, physically, spiritually, intellectually, physically, whatever, no conflicts going on in any way. That's the goal. So there's no order of difficulty amongst a fantastic character in terms of all the qualities that make up a fantastic character. So I'll say that much about it. So the author here is saying, this is A Course in Miracles. Please take notes. So for me, this is a genuinely channeled book. Helen is not writing this book. Helen Schucman. This book, in whatever fashion, however exactly it takes place, automatic writing. But in my understanding, she is not consciously present much. If she's consciously present while she's writing this down, she's automatically kind of being used as a vehicle to write the material by a spirit being. That's what's going on here. So, miracles do not matter. They are quite important. I mean, it's a course in miracles. I mean, the title itself, it's a course, meaning it has to be learned. There are daily lessons. There's a text, a manual, supplements. There's a lot. It's a fairly large book with different sections, and they all have to be studied and learned and understood. Every sentence in this entire book, and all the parts of the book, have a very great idea in them. Like every sentence has a great idea in it. So as far as this is A Course in Miracles, and it's fairly important to understand. So miracles do not matter. They are quite unimportant. Okay, that's in the notes. I don't know. They occur naturally as an expression of love. The real miracle, miracles should be spontaneous. The goal is a phenomenal character. Anyway, they occur naturally as an expression of love. The real miracle is the love that inspires them. In this sense, everything that comes from love is a miracle. So love, an intense feeling of deep affection with fondness and liking. That's what love is, and that's how we should be feeling every moment of every day towards everyone at all times. If I, you, or anyone is not feeling that way, that's our ego, as described in ACIM. Again, miracles to me, phenomenal sense of joy, peace, goodness, love, care, consideration. They occur naturally. This is God extending himself. God is only that. The first person of the Trinity is only love, goodness, sharing, caring, et cetera, et cetera. That's what God himself is. Zero negative emotions does God have. So, so as his extension, as a human, every human being is an extension of God, or the extension of God, and we should be living and feeling the same way: love, peace, goodness, joy, strength, confidence, et cetera, et cetera. That's it. That's how we should be thinking, feeling, and doing things every moment to moment. And it's a natural thing. In real truth, it's a natural thing. The God mind, the book talks about, the God mind is already there. We just have to have and what I would say is we need to see it fully. Like they talk about the blocks to the full awareness of love's presence, like in the mind, in each individual mind, in the mind in total, doesn't matter really. But all right, so God extending himself is how everyone should be living naturally in terms of love and goodness. The real miracle is the love that inspires them. In this sense, everything that comes from love is a miracle. Well, certainly God is the inspiration behind everything that's love. God is very active with everyone. He is actively seeking to extend himself as everyone in terms of bringing everyone to a state of phenomenal sense of love, joy, peace, goodness, kindness, tenderness, strength, etc., etc. God is very active in trying to be this as every human being alive, um, and every being in existence in the bigger picture. Everything that comes from love is a miracle. Um, Thought, word, and action, everything that comes from love, an intense feeling of deep affection, fondness, liking, courtesy, goodwill. There's a lot of words that are similar that, that need to be lived. Check back with this explains the lack of order. All expressions of love are maximal. All expressions of love are maximal. The goal is to be in that type of emotional state, reality state, God consciousness, Jesus like God consciousness. The goal is to be in that type of mentality at all times, phenomenal, always feeling a phenomenal sense of love, joy, peace. And certainly from that place of being, all expressions of love are maximal. But, regardless, um, real love, that which is of God in terms of thought, word, and action. And there are, ways a human is supposed to live also physically, mentally, emotionally. There are, in this book, there is some information about how a person should physically, practically live. But, it's all about love as God defines love. And so if someone is, has a certain amount of the God mind, a certain amount of love, but also, has a certain amount of the ego mind, which is not love, doubt, fear, remorse, anxiety, et cetera, et cetera. That's what the ego mind is. So, even if someone has both types of mentalities going on, when anyone does an expression of what real love is, God's love, that's just as maximal as any other expression of love from anyone, regardless of their state of mind. When I say state of mind, what I mean is, regardless of the degree of God consciousness, Jesus like God consciousness is the goal, in terms of living that all the time, moment to moment. This is why the thing in itself does not matter. The only thing that matters is the source, and this is far beyond human evaluation. Well, I mean, as far as the thing in itself does not matter, love as God defines love. I mean, you got the expression in this book, only the laws of God are laws. There are no other laws. So nothing else is an absolute. Nothing else, anything, almost anything, it may be right or wrong in terms of, is it God's will or not? That's there's a lot involved with that. But expressions of love, whatever is done in terms of the expression of love, thought, word, and action, whatever is done, if it's truly love, God's will, it's maximal. So the action, what actually takes place in terms of thought, word, or action, does not matter if it is love as God defines love. So that's what it's saying there in the next sentence there. The only thing that matters is the capital S source. The capital S source could be taken as a word for God himself. God himself is an expression in this book a lot. Um, and this is far beyond human evaluation. Well, yes, God himself, the first person of the Trinity, is far beyond human evaluation. I mean, there's a lot that can be understood about the first person of the Trinity, but there's a lot that truly cannot be fully understood, especially at the human level. This is true. I'm not here. It's not much having to do with course material. So the word angry is mentioned here. I'll just read the sentence. I am not angry when this kind of thing happens. These are, I'm going to say these are very personal notes to Helen, and it's not really ACI material in the sense of A Course in Miracles material in the sense of um, something that should be commented on as like revelatory information. But I do see the word angry, and anger is never justified as a sentence in this book. But again, the only laws are the laws of God. So anger is not always going to bring guilt, doubt, shame, remorse, anxiety. Anger is not always going to bring that. It's not always against the will of God in terms of the laws of God, but in general, by and large, certainly the statement "anger is never justified" would be a good way to sum up uh, the truth of never being angry. Would be the idea there. Please read these three. Okay, so again, a couple of statements here that are much more personal in terms of not really not really the revelatory information. It is not to frighten you is a sentence in there. I see the word frighten. I'll just say, fear. Fear. I guess I could say fear is never justified. Fear should never be a part of what anyone does ever. This book talks about, everything is either love or fear. Love, strength, confidence, goodness. Fear, anxiety, remorse, doubt. All the negative emotions or fear. It should never be present. Would you regard? Okay, so back to channeled material here as revelatory information. Well, would you regard this as a kind of miracle? Maybe. There is nothing special or surprising about this at all. The one thing that happened was the universal miracle, which was the experiences of intense love that you have felt. Don't get embarrassed. Things that are true are not embarrassing. Embarrassment is only a form of fear, and actually a particular dangerous form because it reflects egocentricity. I'm going to go with capital U, universal, capital M, miracle. Love at its highest reality in terms of how God loves. In terms of every way God loves, in terms of the entire creation. Goes on with, that's what's correct. Good, I'll say, was the experiences of intense love that you have felt. So intense love. The book, I know the book has the phrase burning love of God, like everyone has a burning love of God. That's mentioned once in the text. I'm not sure about Helen's notes here, but I know it's in here at least once in terms of the Helen's notes, but burning love of God. Dictionary definitions of what burning love of God is: intense feeling. That everyone has that. It needs to be fully felt, experienced, known, understood, appreciated. Like, in other words, appreciate and value God himself, appreciate and value other people at all times, phenomenally. Burning love, intense love. So embarrassment would would be a form of fear. Embarrassment. Let's see here. So the definition: a feeling of self-consciousness, shame or awkwardness. Well, certainly any feelings of shame or awkwardness are ego. I don't need to look that up per se. Again, just another thing, a negative emotion that should never be present. Bill, all right. Personal notes. I'll just, if I see something that's truly just personal notes, I'll just say that. Unless I see a word in there that's worthy of a comment. I'll always see a word in everything that has, it's worthy of a comment, simply because the personal note ends with, I am now. And now, the eternal moment, living in the now. Um, I mean, that's important. The idea that sin is never in the present. Sin, again, doubt, fear, remorse, guilt, anxiety, any negative emotion is sin. It's not the will of God. Therefore, it's sin. Therefore, it shouldn't be present. So, as far as the eternal now goes, there is no doubt, fear, remorse, anxiety, shame, dot, 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 in the present moment. It has to be, uh, you know, thought about in terms of fantasy to experience that those negative emotions. Has to be thought about in fantasy. So don't do it. I mean, mind wandering. Don't allow for mind wandering is a big topic in this book. Sin is never in the present. And then moving forward, moment to moment, like right now, like seriously, like here I am in this moment. Now I'm in the next moment, like moving forward, moment to moment. Without sin in one's life, meaning any of those negative emotions should never be present. The eternal now. That's one idea about the eternal now. Do not feel guilty. What am I up to here? Do not feel guilty about the fact that you are doubting this. Just reread them, and their truth will come to you. I love you, and I am not afraid or embarrassed or doubtful. My strength will support you. So don't worry and leave the rest to me. Yeah, doubt again. Doubt is the ego, negative emotion. There should be zero doubt, just like zero any of the other negative emotions, as in zero, as in none, zero uncertainty, let alone guilt, a strong feeling of remorse. There's another word for that, but that's what guilt is, I suppose. Yeah, strong feeling of remorse. Let alone that. There shouldn't even be the slightest care, worry. This book uses the expression, the merest frown. That's all ego, should never be present moment to moment. So in these notes here, you've got this one little short sentence, I love you, with a period. So the author here is saying that to Helen. I don't recall that in the book itself, ACIM, as printed in the various editions. But it's lovely. Love. God is love is a real truth. If you're going to use one emotion to describe God, certainly God is love is the best one to pick. An intense feeling of deep affection is God Himself at all times. Or the author here, the spirit being who's bringing this information through Helen. Don't be afraid, embarrassed, or doubtful. Again, none of that ever. That's negative emotions. They should never be present, not for one moment. My strength will support you, so don't worry and leave the rest to me. Absolute dependence on God is also in this book. Not necessarily in this book, but certainly a truth. Without God, no one exists. No one and nothing exists without the first person of the Trinity, God the Father. So leaving the rest to God Himself is how someone should always be operating. I mean, it's absolute dependence on God at all times. A thorough trying to live God's will, absolutely moment to moment, is one way of summing up that idea.